Everyone wants to change. Everyone wants to improve their life, whether it's getting in shape, making more money, developing discipline, or breaking bad habits. We've all made promises to ourselves. We've written down goals, made new year's resolutions, felt inspired, and even taken action. But something happens along the way. That initial fire begins to fade. The motivation dies. The inspiration disappears. And we fall back into the same patterns that kept us stuck before. Why does this happen? Why do we, time and time again, fail to follow through on the very things we claim matter most to us? The answer is simple, and yet it changes everything. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. That's the foundation of James Clear's powerful book, Atomic Habits. And that's the truth most people ignore. We think setting goals is enough. We think willpower will carry us. We think wanting something badly should lead to results. But at DOES and single quotes T. Because when life gets busy, when stress shows up, when the excitement fades, you don't act based on what you hope for. You act based on what your system allows. Let's imagine two people who both want to lose weight. They have the same goal, the same desire, but one builds a system, prepping meals, keeping healthy food visible, removing junk from the house, setting a consistent bedtime, walking for 20 minutes a day. The other sets a goal, buys a gym membership, and relies on motivation. Fast forward 3 months. Who's healthier? Who's more consistent? Not the one who wanted it more, but the one whose system supported the goal. This is the power of habits. Small, repeated actions that shape who we become. And this is where real transformation begins. We tend to think of change as something big and dramatic, a huge breakthrough, a bold move. But real change is subtle. It's slow. It happens behind the scenes, through dozens of tiny decisions we barely notice. And that's what makes it so hard to track. If you eat a burger today, you don't instantly gain weight. If you skip a workout, nothing happens right away. If you spend 10 minutes scrolling instead of reading, there's no alarm that goes off. But each time we make that choice, we're casting a vote for the person we are becoming. Your habits are not just actions. They are identity shapers. Every habit reinforces a story about who you are, what you value, and what kind of life you live. When you start a habit and stick to it, you're not just changing your behavior, you're changing your belief about yourself. That's why James Clear says, true behavior change is identity change. You don't want to run a marathon. You want to become a runner. You don't want to write a book. You want to become a writer. You don't want to eat healthy. You want to become someone who chooses health. An identity is formed by repetition. That's where systems matter. Because your systems determine what you repeat. A system is simply the environment, process, and rhythm you create around a behavior. It's what makes good choices easy and bad ones harder. If your phone is next to your bed, you'll scroll. If chips are in the cabinet, you'll eat them. If your schedule has no time blocked off for exercise, you won't move. If your books are buried under clutter, you won't read. We are not just creatures of habit. We are creatures of environment. And the smartest way to change your life is to change the cues that trigger your actions. This is where many people fail. They rely on willpower. But willpower is a limited resource. It weakens when we're tired, stressed, or distracted. Systems, on the other hand, can run even when we're not at our best. A good system creates friction for bad habits and flow for good ones. It makes the right choice the default, not the exception. You want to exercise more? Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Make your gym bag visible. Set reminders. Pair exercise with something you enjoy, like music or podcasts. You want to eat better? Keep healthy snacks visible. Prep meals in advance. Avoid shopping when you're hungry. Set rules like no eating in front of screens. You want to read more? Keep a book on your pillow. Commit to 1 page per day. Turn off notifications in the evening. Track your progress with a calendar or journal. These aren't giant changes, but that's the point. Atomic means small, but small doesn't mean weak. Small means powerful. Over time, tiny improvements, repeated consistently, compound into massive results. Just like compound interest grows money, compound habits grow character. If you improve by just 1% each day, you'll be 37 times better by the end of the year. That's not motivation. That's math. Of course, the opposite is true as well. Small negative habits, the ones we justify, ignore, or forget, can compound too. Sleeping late one day becomes 3 days. One missed workout turns into a skipped week. A few extra purchases create long-term debt. Most people don't fail because of one big decision. They fail because of small decisions repeated carelessly. But once you understand the system behind your behavior, you can interrupt the cycle. And that begins with awareness. Ask yourself, what's really producing my current results? If you're constantly overwhelmed, what systems are feeding your stress? If your finances are unstable, what habits are driving your spending? If you feel stuck, what patterns are keeping you in place? Your outcomes are not random. They are reflections of your systems. The good news, systems can be redesigned, step by step, brick by brick. James Clear offers a simple framework: cue, craving, response, reward. Every habit follows this pattern. There's a trigger, the cue, a desire, the craving, an action, the response, and a result, the reward. If you want to change a habit, you don't need to fight the entire loop. You need to adjust the parts. Make the cue obvious. Make the craving attractive. Make the response easy. Make the reward satisfying. Want to build a reading habit? Cue, put the book on your desk. Craving, choose a book you actually enjoy. Response, commit to 1 page. Reward, celebrate with a check mark on your tracker. This framework is powerful because it respects the brain's natural wiring. Habits don't form by force. They form by design. And when you design better systems, you naturally become better with less effort. Let's come back to the core message. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So stop chasing outcomes and start optimizing processes. Stop trying harder and start designing smarter. Stop waiting to feel ready and build systems that carry you forward even when you don't. Goals are good for direction. Systems are good for progress. Without systems, your goals are wishes. With systems, your goals become inevitable. This is how you build the life you want, not overnight, but over time. Through simple habits, tiny choices, quiet consistency. You don't need to change everything today. You just need to change something and stick to it, because the real you is hidden in what you repeat. And when your systems align with your vision, change stops being a struggle. It becomes automatic.